Let's build a personal health tracker AI. So, why do we want to build this thing? I'm building it for myself. After a certain age, it's hard to lose weight, and I need to be below 200 pounds to be healthy. So the few things I need to track: my meals, my workouts, my weight, and my sleep. But first, let's take a look at what the world is like, what people are using right now. Meal tracking. What do people use? MyFitnessPal. What else? There's an app called Lose It that I've used in the past. Bunch more others. The problem I had with these apps is you have to enter stuff in them. When you're eating something, you have to look for it in their nutrition library one by one. Or if it's like a packaged good, you can scan a label. But usually it's not like that, right? There's different kind of meals in front of you. You have to enter them one by one. That's just a pain. And myself experienced it this way. And when I talked to others, everybody said the same thing. After a while, you just stop using them because it's a pain to enter. So the fact that I have to use this app is stopping me from tracking my meals, and it breaks the whole thing. So let's think about that. What else? Workouts. So for this, people use a lot of different apps. Some of them are more popular than others, like Strava, very popular. I don't use it. I'm not a runner. I just use Apple. When I go for a walk, I activate the workout, the exercise. Or if I go for a surf, I use an app called Dawn Patrol. So things like that. So it's not that hard. Weight, Google Sheets, a lot of people use this. Or a scale, smart scale like Withings. And sleep. I guess people use Whoop. I have an Apple Watch. Now the problem is these apps are recording data, but they don't talk to each other. So there's a wall between each of these segments, and that's a problem. Because what we really want is we want some kind of analysis happening across these different kinds of data and tell us what we should do with our lives. So now we have AI. We don't need to use all these different apps. We just need one AI that holds our personal data in a private place and reasons about it, sends us reminders, tracks them, gives us analysis, makes recommendations, finds any type of correlation across all these different data types. So what we need is a personal AI instead of all these different kinds of apps. Now this AI needs to have health skills, and it needs to be able to store our data. So why do we need these different parts? We have an LLM, large language model, that is amazing at running SQL queries against data. So when we store our weight, our meals, calories, workouts, and sleep, we can ask questions. Net calories, how much did I sleep? What's the impact of our exercise and diet on my sleep? Things like that. And the LLM can look at our data and run analysis. It can run SQL queries. But how does it do that? It's going to use these skills that we're going to give it. So it knows what kind of data there is. And let's see what that data is going to look like and how the LLM can use skills to query that data. That helps us. Let's start with meals. So starting with a meals table, what kind of data do we need to store in there? The meal itself, or let's say just the food, the calories in that food, and then the macros, protein, fat, carbs, and the type of food. So now this is going to be stored as a Parquet file in our Arca vault. Next, workouts. What kind of workout? Calories burned, duration. That's probably enough, basic. What else? Sleep, bedtime, wake time, sleep length. Now the quality of the sleep is important. So we break this down into components. REM, core, deep sleep, and awake time. So this will be another table. And finally, weight table. This is easy, just date and weight. In America, we'll do pounds, or if you're in Europe or elsewhere, you can do kilograms. So now we have 4 tables set up for our skill system: meals, workouts, weight, sleep. And for each table, when we create these tables on the fly through the Arca MCP server, through either n8n or Claude or ChatGPT, it's going to create skills files. It's going to ask us first, what was your first meal? You record a meal, and then you can say, all right, it was this many calories, and it can actually, AI can decide how many calories the meal contains. This is one of the benefits over using an actual meal tracking app. We don't have to know how many calories it has. We don't have to look into a nutrition database or select one from the app. AI will estimate more or less how many calories it's going to have, and it's going to also estimate the macros, the protein, the fat, the carbs. And weight is easy. We can either just do that very quickly ourselves. Workouts, every time I come back from workout, I just say to AI, hey, I came back from a walk, 45 minutes, 240 calories. It'll just estimate the calories anyway, so just very quick to enter. And sleep, just every morning, slept 8 hours, and then there's a way to sync this with Apple Health as well, so you don't even have to enter it yourself. So now let's build this actually inside of n8n using the Arca MCP server, and then we can use it in different ways.
Okay, let's build our health tracker personal AI. We have a template n8n flow here, chat message, AI agent, Claude Opus connected, Simple Memory connected, and Arca MCP server. What we're trying to do, we want to create ourselves a health tracker that tracks our meals every day, workouts, sleep, and weight. And then store that data in our private data vault in Arca using the Arca MCP server. And then over time, AI will collect this data, query it, reason over it, and help us become healthier. So let's start with Arca. So what is Arca? Arca is private data vault for personal AI applications. So it has an API, it has an MCP server, and it gives you a private isolated vault where your AI can store and access your private data. It has a skills system, and it stores data in the form of tabular structure, which is regular SQL data tables using DuckDB and Parquet format, and vectors for semantic type data that's text heavy, and that uses LansDB for that. And each table, vector or regular tabular data table, is described with a skill file, so an AI agent that wants to interact with this data knows how to interact with it, knows how to run queries, what the relationships are, and things like that. So why should we use Arca or anything else? It creates data tables on the fly. You can create data tables with the columns that you want, and you can add more columns later on, update them. So this is so much easier now in the age of AI to do it that way instead of just like creating data tables by hand, doing migrations and things like that. And so this data is stored in AWS S3 in a bucket and in a data vault just for you, and you can export it, delete it. You know exactly what data is being saved. So it's much better than just having your memories and data saved in like ChatGPT's blob of memory that you don't know what's happening, where it is, what ads are being served. You can't get it out. You can't delete it, things like that. So the other beautiful thing is because it uses an MCP server, any AI assistant that we use, Claude or ChatGPT, or Mio is an application that we built, AI that uses Arca, can connect your Arca MCP server and just use your data, so you're not stuck with ChatGPT or Claude or maybe Gemini later on, or Microsoft's AI products and things like that. And of course, skills instead of apps is super important. All of the business logic, that the way we want to interact with our data is described in these skill files, so we don't have to hard code anything. So AI is the UI, skills is the logic layer, Arca data files are the data layer. So we can build anything that we want using Arca as the backend. And then we end up personalizing everything about our life. in these like Arca data files. So it's completely built for AI assistants. It's not built for humans use. It's for agents, AI agents to use. And you know, if you're a developer, you can of course build applications using Arca's API and MCP. So so let's go ahead now and create an Arca account, because we're gonna then get our API key and go back here, connect it as a credential so that we can create our data. So first things first, we need an Arca account. So you go here to arca.build, and let's see, I'm gonna just say like plus. Sign up. Now I should get an email code. Sign into Arca, copy. Now logged in. So first, we have nothing. It's a brand new Arca account, no vector tables, no data tables, and no skills. So we're now going to create our first skill and data. So we go here, but we need to connect our Arca account to the Arca MCP server. So let's go to account, copy our API key from the account, then go back here and create a new, so it's a bearer auth. URL is mcp.arca.build, and then create a new credential. Let's call it, you know, health tracker API key. Bearer token paste, save. So now close this, and tools to include, you'll see if you do selected, you'll see all the available tools: create tabular skill, add tabular item, get tabular items, update tabular items, alter tabular skill schema. So this is if you want to kind of like, you create a table, you're like, oh, like I want to track more data, and then you just like add more columns to it. List skills is going to create vector skill if it's like semantic data, like, you know, journal and things like that, a lot of text, articles. Add vector items, search vectors, batch append if you want to upload CSV files, batch add vectors the same way. So these are all the tools available. So let's just select all and save this. And let's just test it really quickly to see. Let me just open this up a little bit. What skills do we have? And it shouldn't find anything, but it should go to the MCP server. Now it hit it, and now let's just look at the results. Look, nothing. It's empty. It's an empty account. We don't have any skill set up yet, but we can. So let's start with the fact that we want to build a whole system of skills here, not just one, but meals, workouts, sleep, and weight. So let's start with meals. Let's create a meals skill. I want to track calories from the food that I eat every day, as well as macros like protein, carbs, and fat. So now it should ask me the first record to create as a part of this table. So it wants to go and create a meals table. So what was something you ate recently? So let's do this. I had scrambled eggs and toast for breakfast. And then it should estimate calories and macros. So like, this is the beautiful thing, because normally there's a bunch of apps out there like MyFitnessPal or Lose It and things like that, and you have to kind of go and select it from their database. It's just a pain. And I tried using those apps, and after a while you stop using them because it's just hard to enter meal data. We don't have to do that stuff anymore. We have AI. AI knows a lot of these things already in the LLM. So it can estimate more or less what the calories are, what the macros are. So let's see what it does now. Check this out. Now it's going to go. AI is deciding what to do. And now it's hitting the Arca MCP server. What did it do? Look, it created log my breakfast. It used the create tabular skill tool, and it created a skill, and it set it up. Look. So now let's go to our Arca data and see what that looks like. Home, tables. Look, meals, view entries. So if you check this out now, it has scrambled eggs and toast saved. And calories is saved. Protein is saved. Carbs, fat. Look at this. Like, imagine you having to do this by using an app. Now, let's check out the skills to see like what it did. Look, every time it creates a new table, which we created by just giving it one sentence. Now, view skill. Now you can see what this is all about. Purpose. Track daily food intake with calories and macros. This is the schema of the data table. Look, imagine you setting up something like this in any database, Postgres, Supabase, anything, right? You have to write code. Even if Cloud Code and Replit or Lovable is writing it, you still have to have the AI to write the code, create a migration, create a data table. So this is such an interesting thing right now. It's creating a data table on the fly from me speaking in English. Look, it created all these columns with the data types. And it creates these usage examples and then also the notes. So now let's keep adding more. Now let's create workouts skill. Look, I'm just going to give it like as little as possible. Let it ask. Let it ask me. So now it says, what was the recent workout then? So let's do this. I went for a 30-minute run this morning. Okay. And then look what it's going to do. So first it's hitting up Claude and then hitting up the Arca MCP server. It's coming back with some results. And then it created it. So let's go now, go to our data tables. Look, now there's a workouts table. Look inside. Look, duration minutes. It estimated the calories. It was a cardio, medium intensity morning run. How amazing is that? Now go to skills. Workout skill is there. It's explaining what it is. What's the schema? And it generates some notes. You could get very specific with that. And now let's go back and create log. Let's create a skill to log my sleep. So we should give it, so this is great. Let's do this. And also give it like, let's say 11 p.m. or 7 hours. Let's say REM sleep, 2 hours, deep sleep, 1 hour, core sleep, 3 hours. How much has it been? 3, 4, 6. Awake time, 1 hour. Let's see. Let's see if it adds those as columns too, because like I'm giving it extra data. So the sleep quality data is important. And then woke up at 6 a.m. So let's see what data table. So like AI is reasoning now. What kind of data table to create? So let's refresh this. Look, now there's a sleep table. Let's look inside. Look at this. It tracked all of these things that I told it. It created data columns. So this uses DuckDB, and these are Parquet files. You can also export them. Parquet files are regular SQL data files. That's sitting in your data vault in S3. There's no database server here. So check this out. View skill. Sleep. Look, everything is stored. And then documentation is there. So like we just have one more thing left, right? Now let's track my weight. Two. And then it's going to ask me like, what's my weight? When did I? Yeah, so today's weight 199 pounds. So now it should store that as pounds because I'm in the US, but if you're in Europe or elsewhere, you could use kilograms. That's what it would use. So that's how you're kind of like defining the data type and the units as well. So so it created it, and the AI has responded. So let's check our data here. Refresh, and check this out. Weight. Created weight underscore LBS, and the skill is there as well. Here it is, explaining what it's trying to do, how it created it, and then you can just kind of like make the skill file a lot more defined, explaining what you really want to do and how you want to track, what your goals are, get very specific with it. So like what I've done here is created a basic health tracking system with 4 types of data: weight, calories, and meals, and sleep. So now every day, so we can create, so like obviously, as you know, you can turn this into a chat here. So like if you kind of make this chat publicly available, and then it's going to have its own, so then you can kind of like use it here, bookmark it, put it on your phone, and every day just log it quickly. And then over time, it's just going to build up. And then our AI will be able to query it. You can say, my trends in the last 7 days, or in the last 30 days, what's my daily average calorie consumption? My personal weekly goal is 14,000 calories. In order for me to not gain weight, I need to have a net calories of 2,000 calories a day. Times 7, that's 14,000. So what I do usually is, like I do intermittent fasting Mondays, Wednesdays, Fridays. I do cheat weekends on Saturdays and Sundays. I eat whatever I want. So like during the week, my calories are, it's like around 9,000. And I enter the weekend with like 5,000-6,000 budget that I can work with, so that I can eat my pizzas and burgers and like ice creams and whatever I want. And then I keep asking AI, like, how much budget do I have left? How much budget do I have left? So like based on that, I kind of make sure that I don't go over and I don't gain weight. It's not just about weight. Of course, it's about being healthy, healthy body, healthy mind and healthy body, super important. So this is like a nice system. I hope that you can build it. I hope that it's useful. Some things that you can do with it, obviously, if you like using n8n, you can create scheduled triggers that uses the Arca MCP server and gives you weekly emails, daily reminders, and things like that. Of course, you can connect to Apple Health and have Apple Health sync with the Arca MCP server as well, which I've done in a separate app. So you can do a lot of cool things, and just imagine the other types of data that you can enter this way, just like the way we did it so easily. We created data tables, really dynamic, and just, in the previous episode, we had done to-dos. Just imagine the types of things that you can do. Just replace all of the apps on your phone that you don't need. If you're paying subscription money, $80 a year for MyFitnessPal, you don't need that. Just cancel that and just do this instead. All right. Well, hopefully this was helpful.